Did you know that in general, the unique selling proposition is kind of sort of dead? Now, I don't mean it's completely useless, I don't mean that at all, and I don't mean that you should never do them. What I mean though is that welcome to the modern world. There are a lot of people just like you doing work just like you and potentially even better. So, what is truly unique about you? Sadly, and so far from what I've seen, usually and in most cases, not much. Is that a bad thing? No. Is that a great thing? Also, no. It's kind of in the middle. So, in today's Morning for Visionaries, we're talking about the simple topic of is the unique selling proposition dead and what we can do about it. So, I sort of answered that earlier. The unique selling proposition is kind of sort of dead, depending what industry you're on. If you're the Teslas of the world, yes, they have a unique selling proposition ish, high quality, though that's to be debatable depending on which news you read about Tesla's production issues. So there's that. But generally, unless you're a company like Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, the big wigs creating something truly innovative, you probably don't really have something that's 100% unique. The very easy example of this is us web developers, for one thing. It's one, but the easiest one is banks. And you're thinking, well, what do banks have to do with any of this thing? Very simple. Walk into bank A. Pick any bank. Walk into a bank A. Ask them, what do you guys provide that is unique to you guys? Well, they'll say, well, we have this awesome program. We have family values. We are community oriented. Walk into bank B. Ask them, what makes them so unique? Well, we have these unique programs. We're family oriented. We're big into the community. Go into bank 3. What makes you unique? We have these unique programs, we're community oriented, so on, so forth. Banks have a real hard time differentiating themselves. The kind of exception to the rule is community banks versus big banks. But other than that, it's really hard to differentiate between these companies because they kind of sort of offer more or less the same thing. They offer almost all the same services at almost all the same rates. So what is the difference between them? I don't know. To me, banks are pretty much all nearly identical. There are a few differences between them, of course, based on branding, customer service. And is that their unique selling proposition? We have the best customer service. It could be, but banks pretty much almost never, ever, if at all, focus on that. They focus on different things. Community banks, though, is probably where I generally would recommend for most people, especially if you're looking for customer service, because they are actually warm and friendly. Now, how does that apply to you? You're a florist, you're a woman entrepreneur starting a business, creating events for women communities. That's relevant to me because my wife is doing that. You're a web developer, you're a copywriter. What makes you truly unique versus anybody and everybody else in the world? And honest to goodness, there probably isn't much. For example, what makes us unique just as web developers different than anybody else? We produce code, we make things happen, we solve issues. That's everything. Most things are a commodity in this world, at least if that's how you look at it. Sure, for most things, you probably will a commodity. And if you are talking to somebody who's a tire kicker and one of those people who really are just want to compare anything and everything and just go on features, you probably will be kind of stuck with them and kind of try to lowball each other. And that world kind of sucks. There is that commodity world. And for some things, there is a time and a place for that, for it to be price shopping, to be feature shopping. There's that. Now, for the rest of us, creating one of those, let's go through a unique selling proposition course, I probably wouldn't recommend them because there's not much you can get out of it. What I would recommend, instead of going for a unique selling proposition, is how to make you, yourself, and your company awesome and truly great in the industry. So it's not a unique selling proposition. It's a question of how can you be the best you can be, and I don't mean to rip off of the military line, be the best you can be. It truly is that, though, in business. How can you make your experiences great? How can you make you, yourself, and your brand great? How can you make the user experience, the user journey, the path, and everything somebody takes through your business pretty darn great and on brand? So somebody might say, well, that kind of does sound like a unique selling proposition. I disagree. The unique selling proposition, as I've always been told and as I've understood it, is kind of more or less just a few things that truly make you stand out. Well, be great, be awesome, and talk to people. Be out there in the world, and people will gravitate to you bit by bit by bit, and eventually in a whole lot of bits, right? Which is good. So that's what you want. So grow things naturally. Be great out there. Do great work. Showcase your work well. Present yourself well. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this. This is just one little piece of, we need this thing that's going to make us completely unique and different from everybody else. Well, you're probably not going to be. Be it, for example, what's the difference between Jeeps, Fords, and Mercedes? They're cars. They get you from A to B. Some are nicer than others. Some have slightly different features, but there's no real unique thing. Could you have a unique twist or a target market or a tagline that kind of separates you out a little bit to a specific market? Yes, of course, and you should probably have that. And you might again say, well, that's your unique selling proposition. I disagree again. Just because you can differentiate yourself out there a little bit and be better or just a bit different, that's not a unique selling proposition in and of itself, I believe. That's you as your brand trying to craft a great user experience for your target market. And that is what you should be aiming to do, not for having a unique selling proposition. And we are this one completely new thing that nobody else has ever done. You'll never get this other thing from any other company except us. Yeah, you probably will. Let's compare something probably more apt. Mercedes versus Audi versus Lexus. Right? They're all kind of more or less the same. And you pick one by whichever one you've experienced the most and liked the most. Okay, fine. And that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And same thing with web developers. There's good ones, bad ones, medium ones, overly expensive ones, expensive ones, and there's everything in the middle. So you have to figure out where you want to be in the world and start getting there by creating those experiences and those ideas and the brand look, feel, and everything that will match those ideas. So that's it for today's Morning for Visionaries. I don't really think that unique selling proposition is a thing you should worry about. Instead, I highly recommend you focus on just making your brand as great as it can be for a way that works for you and that is on brand for you. So if you have any tips, tricks, or ideas about making yourself awesome, I'd love to hear them, what you've done in the comments. So that's it for today. Signing off. Bye-bye.